Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real simple, real straight, and real powerful. Sometimes a man ain't moving not because he doesn't want you, but because he doesn't know if he's allowed to. Men act bold, talk tough, walk strong, but inside we're scared of one thing more than anything else: rejection. And that fear keeps a whole lot of good men standing still right in front of the woman they actually want. A man stepping forward has less to do with boldness and more to do with emotional safety, and that's the part most people never talk about. Everyone thinks men are fearless creatures who walk through life with some built-in confidence, like we were born knowing exactly what to do, how to move, and when to make that big first step. But the truth is, every man, no matter how strong, how successful, how cool he acts, carries a quiet fear of being rejected, misunderstood, or made to feel small, and that fear becomes a wall. Emotional safety is what breaks that wall, and when a woman gives it without even trying to control or push him, it does something powerful inside him. It tells him he's welcome. It tells him he's not going to be embarrassed. It tells him he's not walking into a trap. It tells him you can be you here. And when a man feels safe, that's when he steps forward on his own. See, men don't move when they feel judged. They don't open up when they feel tested. They don't pursue when they feel like they're being compared, but give a man a space where he feels accepted just as he is, and suddenly you will see a different version of him. He'll talk more, he'll try more, he'll risk more, because emotional safety doesn't make a man weaker. It activates everything strong inside him. It makes him want to protect, provide, and pursue. It makes him want to earn your time instead of waiting on your cues. Safety is not softness. Safety is fuel. Most women underestimate how much their energy impacts a man's confidence. A woman who smiles at him, talks to him with warmth, listens without shutting him down, and shows a little appreciation, she becomes magnetic to him. Not because she's doing something over the top, but because she makes him feel calm and understood. A woman who makes a man feel safe instantly becomes the woman he wants to move toward, because he doesn't have to guess with her. He doesn't have to pretend. He doesn't have to put on a mask or act tougher than he is. Emotional safety whispers to him, you don't have to be perfect here. That's the kind of environment where a man's courage grows naturally. And let me be real, emotional safety doesn't mean letting him walk all over you. It doesn't mean shrinking yourself or lowering your standards. It means showing him that while you have boundaries, you also have grace, you have kindness, you have a way of speaking that lifts him instead of cutting him. You communicate clearly instead of playing confusing games. You tell him when you appreciate something he does instead of waiting for him to guess. A man who feels that balance, strength without hostility, softness without weakness, will step toward it like it's home. When a man senses safety from a woman, it's like a green light. It breaks his hesitation. It calms his insecurities. It quiets all that noise in his head telling him he might get hurt or look foolish. And the moment he feels emotionally secure, he doesn't wait around. He steps forward proudly. He leads confidently. He makes the first move, not because he's pushed, but because he finally feels like himself. That's the power of emotional safety. It awakens a man's natural desire to show up for the woman who makes him feel understood. A confident woman's clarity does something to a man that nothing else can. It straightens his back, sharpens his intention, and clears out all the doubts he's been wrestling with in silence. Clarity is not pressure, it's not force, it's not chasing. It's simply showing him with your energy and your words that you know what you feel and you're not afraid to stand in it. And let me tell you, a woman who carries that kind of certainty becomes unforgettable. She becomes the type of woman a man doesn't want to lose. When a man senses confidence in a woman, it doesn't intimidate him the way people think. What intimidates him is confusion, but clarity gives him direction. Men are simple when it comes to emotional movement. They don't want a puzzle. They want a path. When you speak with clarity, when you express your interest without games, your boundaries without anger, your values without apology, it activates something deep in him. He doesn't feel like he's stepping into a guessing game. He doesn't feel like he's taking a blind risk. He feels like he has a chance. A man with a chance becomes a man with courage. And once he feels that courage rising, he will take the lead without being pushed. A confident woman's clarity is powerful because it removes fear. When you're clear about what you want, how you feel, or what you expect, you're telling him this is a safe space to show up as a man. Most men hesitate not because they're uninterested, but because they're unsure. Unsure if you like them, unsure if they're reading the signs right, unsure if stepping forward will make them look foolish. But when you give clarity, all that fog disappears. He sees your intention like a light in the distance, and suddenly he knows where to walk. And this isn't about you doing the chasing. It's not about you taking his role or his effort. It's about giving him the confidence to step into what he already wants. A man will always lead better when he feels supported, not when he feels tested. And clarity is support. It says, you're good, you're welcomed, you're seen. When a woman carries herself with calm confidence, when she communicates without fear, reacts without chaos, and stands in her truth, she becomes a man's anchor. She becomes the person he wants to impress, to pursue, to prove himself to, because he knows she's real, she's steady, she's not playing around. There's something magnetic about a woman who says what she means, but says it with grace. A woman who doesn't hide behind mixed signals or emotional games. A woman who doesn't act uninterested just to appear hard to get. A woman like that makes a man trust her instantly. And trust is what makes him move. Clarity also makes a woman rare. In a world full of confusion, half-hearted communication, and people afraid to show genuine interest, a confident woman stands out. She becomes refreshing. She becomes different. And that difference is what pulls a man toward her. He knows she won't waste his time or play with his emotions. He knows she values herself, and a woman who values herself makes a man step up his own value. Confidence wrapped in clarity is irresistible. It turns hesitation into action. It turns fear into forward movement. It turns a man who's unsure into a man who becomes certain about you. That's the power of a confident woman. She doesn't chase. She doesn't force. She simply makes it easy for a man to rise to the occasion, and trust me, he will. Men move fast when they feel chosen, not chased, and that single truth explains more male behavior than anything else. A man's nature is built around earning, proving, stepping forward, and claiming something he truly wants. But the moment he feels like he's being chased, pushed, or pressured, something inside him shuts down. It's not ego, it's instinct. Men pull back when they feel hunted because it takes away the part of masculinity that makes them feel purposeful. But when a woman makes a man feel chosen, not desperate, not needy, not controlling, but genuinely chosen, he steps into the role with pride. He becomes the version of himself he's been saving for the right woman. Being chosen doesn't mean you do his work for him. It doesn't mean you confess your heart, give him everything up front, or show up with all the answers. It simply means you show him in a soft, steady way that you see him. Men don't respond to pressure, they respond to possibility. When you give him that sense of possibility, through your openness, your warmth, your presence, he feels motivated to come toward you. He feels like the effort he makes won't be wasted. A man who feels chosen will climb mountains. A man who feels chased will run. There is a huge difference between attention and acceptance. When a woman tries too hard to get a man's attention, he may enjoy it, but he won't pursue her. Deep down, a man wants to feel like he was selected, like he rose above the others because he deserved that spot. And you show that through balance. You're kind, but not clingy. You're present, but not pushy. You allow him to get close, but you never run behind him. This balance tells him, I see value in you, but I value myself too. That's when attraction turns into action. Men also move faster when they feel like the connection is real, not transactional. When you appreciate small things he does, when you talk to him with ease, when you give him the space to lead without correcting or controlling every step, that tells him he has room to be a man around you. Men crave that feeling. They want to feel like they have a role, a place, a purpose in your life. That's what makes them invest more, call more, plan more, show up more, because choosing a man doesn't mean chasing him. It means making him feel like his presence has value. And here's the truth many overlook. A man cannot feel chosen by a woman who is too busy proving herself. When you constantly chase, over-explain, over-give, or overstretch, he doesn't feel chosen. He feels overwhelmed. Men don't want a woman running behind them. They want a woman standing strong, confident, open enough to let them in, but not weak enough to lose herself. That's what makes a man think, she picked men, now let me show her she was right. When a man senses he's genuinely chosen, not because you're lonely, not because you're settling, not because you're trying to please, but because you see his heart, his effort, his character, that's when he moves with intention. That's when he makes the first move proudly. That's when he goes all in, because a man who feels chosen doesn't hesitate. He steps forward like a man who finally found where he belongs. A simple, honest sentence can remove a man's fear of rejection in a way that nothing else can, because men carry a quiet, private uncertainty they rarely talk about. Even the strongest, loudest, most confident man has moments where he wonders if he's enough, if he's reading your signals right, if stepping forward will make him look foolish. That fear sits deep and it keeps him standing still, even when he wants you, even when he thinks about you, even when he's imagining his next move. But when you say something honest, something gentle, something real, something that tells him he's welcome, you flip a switch inside him. Men don't need a paragraph. They don't need a speech. They don't need poetic lines. They just need one sentence that clears the doubt. One sentence that tells him, I won't hurt you. I'm open. You can try. Men are raised to believe they must initiate everything, but nobody teaches them how to handle emotional uncertainty. Rejection hits a man's pride, but more importantly, it hits his masculinity. So when he's unsure about you, he won't risk it. He won't step forward boldly if he thinks you might turn away, laugh it off, or make him feel like he misread the moment. That's why your words matter, not to push him, but to soften the fear he's too proud to admit. When you tell him something like, I enjoy talking to you, or you make me feel comfortable, or I like being around you, that small sentence breaks the tension in his mind. Suddenly he stops questioning everything. Suddenly he feels safe enough to take the next step. Words like those act as a green light, not a push. They invite him, reassure him, and awaken the part of him that wants to lead confidently. Most women underestimate how powerful their voice is to a man. Your tone, your warmth, the sincerity in your eyes, those things reach him deeper than you think. When you speak honestly, without sarcasm, without games, without trying to sound too hard or too cold, you create a moment where he sees the truth in you. And a man needs that truth to feel brave. He needs to know he's not walking into a trap. He needs to know he's not being set up to fail. That's why honesty works. It strips away the guessing. It gives him clarity. A man with clarity becomes a man with intention. Simple sentences are powerful because they come from the heart, not strategy. When you say something real, something unfiltered, he feels the trust behind it. He feels the openness. He feels the invitation. And trust me, men respond to invitations far more than they respond to pressure. Pressure makes them freeze. Honesty makes them act. When he hears that one sincere sentence from you, it quiets the noise in his mind. It reminds him that he doesn't have to pretend, perform, or compete. He can just step forward. In a world full of mind games, mixed signals, and guarded hearts, a simple, honest sentence becomes a breath of fresh air. It separates you. It calms him. It gives him the confidence to stop holding back, and once that fear of rejection fades, even a little, he will make the move himself, boldly and proudly, because now he knows he's stepping toward someone who sees him, not someone